If you've never talked about your pain, this video explains why it still controls you. If nothing looks wrong in your life, yet something feels heavy inside you, this video is for you. Because this feeling is not sadness, and it is not weakness. It is a deeper psychological state most people never learn to name. You experience it quietly, even when life appears stable, and you wonder why calm still feels exhausting. Psychology calls this emotional overload without release. It develops when the mind stays strong for too long, when there is no safe space to rest, feel, or express. Gradually, asking for help feels unnecessary, and silence begins to feel safer than honesty. Over time, the mind stops expressing distress, not because the pain disappeared, but because expression became too costly. So the mind chose quiet survival instead. Strength slowly replaced vulnerability. You may notice that pain feels distant now, but joy feels distant too. This numbness is often mistaken for peace. But numbness is not healing. It is the nervous system conserving energy. At some point, you learn to function instead of feel. You kept moving because stopping felt dangerous, not because you were okay, but because you had no other option. Endurance became your default response. This pattern often forms in people who grew up too early, who stayed calm during emotional chaos, who learned not to burden others with their feelings, who discovered that silence kept things stable, even when it caused internal damage. Slowly, you became emotionally low maintenance. You asked for less and expected less, not because you wanted distance, but because disappointment felt heavier than restraint. Self-control became a form of safety. You didn't lose your emotions, you learned to pause them to stay functional. What once helped you survive now limits how deeply you can feel. Your reactions are shaped less by the present moment, and more by what was never resolved. The mind never forgets what the body carried alone. Here is the truth most people miss. You are not empty because something is missing from you. You feel empty because you carried too much for too long, and you carried it without being seen or supported. That weight never disappeared. Unprocessed emotions do not fade with time. They quietly influence how you react to the world. Healing does not begin with motivation or positivity. It begins when you ask what you survived that was never processed. Awareness is the moment healing becomes possible. You didn't break. You adapted to what you could not escape. Survival taught you control before it taught you release. Silence became a habit long before it became a problem. Your numbness is not your personality. It is unfinished emotional business asking to be understood. The mind does not heal by ignoring what once kept it awake at night. What you avoid feeling does not disappear. It reshapes your behavior quietly. This is why small moments can trigger oversized reactions. Your nervous system learned these patterns before you had words for them. You are often responding to history, not just the present. Healing begins when the body finally feels safe enough to stop bracing. Safety, not strength, is what allows emotions to surface and release. Awareness gives you choice where survival once gave you only reaction. When patterns are understood, they lose their control, and pain slowly transforms into insight. Understanding yourself is not fixing what is broken. It is recognizing what was never protected. When your inner world feels seen, reactions no longer speak for it. The pain you never spoke about loses power once it is understood, and what once controlled your reactions becomes a chapter, not a command.